Hello and welcome back to TVP World. My name is Alex Simlinski and these are World Talks. The Queen of Europe, best voice of the competition. These are just some examples of online comments after Justyna Steczkowska delighted the audience not only with her flawless vocals, but also with her spectacular choreography, which combined dance and acrobatics in her semi-final performance of Eurovision Song Contest 2025. Her performance with the song Gaia was one of the most commented moments of the evening. And she will be performing in the final on Saturday in Basel, Switzerland. That is, of course, today. And joining us to talk more about this is Kacper Paradowski, our very own TVP World Editor. Hello and welcome to World Talks.
Hello, Alex.
Great to have you. So, for starters, Poland's top 10 Eurovision finishes were limited to 3. That was Edyta Górniak, who finished second in 1994. Then we had Ich Troje in 2003. Michał Szpak, the latest contestant, finished 8th in 2016 with Color My World. So Justyna Steczkowska makes it the 4th time that Poland is in the top 10. How big of a milestone is this for Justyna and for Poland?
Well, we'll see how well she does. There's 26 nations in that final. We are hoping for a great finish, obviously, and we have a great song to complement that too. Justyna's Gaia is a powerful song. There's strong vocals. There's also a lot of staging that goes into it. We see fire, we see a dragon on that stage, and Justyna is also being hoisted up into the air. She wanted to do more. She asked to do more because she trained, she got certified to be able to fly around that stage. However, due to security, safety reasons, she's not going to be allowed to really fly around that venue in Basel. But I think she's going to be a strong fan favorite.
I mean, just listening to what you said, I can't believe she wanted to do more, as she is the first contestant in Eurovision history to be lifted above that stage. I mean, this performance, I think, has it all. I mean, she's dancing and running around the stage in heels, right? The dancers also dance in heels. I mean, it looks just so much hard work. How much work goes into preparing for such a contest like the Eurovision?
Oh, so much. In fact, the preparations already in the host country, this time it's Switzerland, they start at least 2 weeks before. They need to do many rehearsals, they need to see what works on that stage, right? And in the semi-final, she did even better than she did in the rehearsals, so I think she's getting acclimated with that stage, so we're hoping she's gonna do her best performance in the final tonight.
And now I want to get your personal, statement, view, opinion. How do you find, what do you think of Justyna Steczkowska's song and performance, Gaia?
I think this is our strongest performance in at least several years, maybe since Michał Szpak in 2016, like you've mentioned before. Because this song has it all, like you said. But in order to win, you need to not only win over the hearts of voters at home, but also the jury. And the jury is very strict. It has its own visions of who should win. It's usually not the fun songs, not the fan favorites that get the jury's vote. But I believe that Justyna bridges that gap and is both fan favorite and also somebody who the jury will like very much for her performance. So it's
interesting that you said it will bridge the gap, because I'm curious, so what do you think? What is it that, speaks to both, of course, the people who vote and the jury? Is it the song? Is it the song's message? Is it, the performance on stage, the costumes, or maybe everything put together?
What speaks to the fans often is the show, is the staging of it all. We can call them campy songs, we can call them quirky, but songs like Tommy Cash's Espresso Macchiato, that I know you're a fan of.
That is true, you were speaking just before and I do like it, but of course Gaia is my favorite.
Absolutely, she is our favorite. Also Kai from Sweden, who is up there with with the votes of the bookies so far. So this is what works for the fans. Songs in the national language, songs that really show the spirit of a certain nation. There's many of these songs in this competition, this year's final. But what speaks to the jury is not the same. Jury historically is not that big a fan of national languages being sung. They're more for the broader appeal, for greater vocal performances. It's important to them for that the performance itself, the singing and the dancing, is up to the highest standard. No gimmicks.
That's right. Of course, everything is super professional. I remember speaking to Justyna before she left for Basel, and she told me that this is something that hasn't changed. 30 years ago, everything was accounted for to the last minute, and that's the way that this show runs. Now, coming back to performances, so legend has it that those who have violins on stage, Justyna plays the violin at one point during her performance, or who have fire, that is also on stage, or have some controversy surrounding the performance. For some people, that was the fact that there are dancers dancing here in heels. How true is that? And how do you think that's going to work out this year for Justyna?
Well, this question immediately springs to mind some of the past winners. Dare I say 2009's Norway entry by Alexander Rybak, Fairy Tale. He was playing the violin throughout the song and he won. In terms of fire, there would be too many to mention, but even coming back to 2014's Conchita Wurst and her win for Austria with Rise Like a Phoenix. Justyna's song seems really tailor-made for Eurovision Song Contest. It seems to have it all in terms of the elements that might really push the jury and the televoters to vote for her. Some are even joking that having an old man on stage is a bit of luck. And there is a middle-aged gentleman playing the violin as well on that stage. So maybe there is something to it.
Now, what about, you mentioned it is the fans, right, who vote, but also the jury has a lot to say here. What does the voting system in Eurovision look like?
The voting system is divided, as you mentioned, into two parts. When we have seen all of the 26 contestants and the televote is already done, and the final voting procedure is being shown to us, we start with seeing how many points did all the contestants get from the jury. And then, one by one, each country presents how many points their telefans have given to other contestants. So it's this bit of reveal that is happening throughout the show. And that is mainly what gives the drama, what brings the tension up. Because we already know what the jury voted, but we don't know where the fans' hearts are.
So it's all about the emotions too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And what about, because Justyna Steczkowska is actually back on the stage of Eurovision 30 years after having performed on it already before, so this is her second time around. In terms, music-wise, how has she evolved? How has she changed as an artist? How much does this performance of Gaia, the entry song of this year's contest, differ from what she showed on that stage 30 years ago?
I think she evolved as much as the competition itself has evolved. I watched her performance from 30 years ago and I watched some others from that very year. It was a completely different show, as you can imagine. In 30 years, the technological advancements have led us to see what we can see now. But 30 years ago, the songs were very much stripped down. There were no great dance numbers, there were no fire on that stage. Justyna herself, I believe she just has grown into one of the best Polish divas that we have. And she really shows that. She really shows her vocal prowess to the fullest extent. The notes that she is sustaining for Lord knows how long. That really shows that she is confident and she can do whatever she wants on that stage.
It's really incredible just listening to you say that, because online, doing research for this, I also came across a comment that described her vocals as that she has lungs out of this universe, we're not from this planet. You know, just how, what do you think of, you know, of her vocals, of her voice, and, you know, the talent that she's able to showcase?
Not to be mean to our previous contestants, however, I think that she is one of the best that we've ever had. In terms of the jury vote, we don't have to be too worried in terms of, oh, is she going to do, is her voice going to crack? Is she going to do mediocre on that stage due to her vocal performance? That is something we do not have to worry about. She is an absolute professional and she knows what to do with that voice.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? How will the final three look like?
Oh, the great question.
But your take on it, what do you think?
My take, I think that the Swedes, Kai is absolutely a front runner. I believe that song Maman from France is also up there too. Certainly it's going to gather a lot of votes in the televote. But let's say a dark horse. Why not somebody from Central Eastern Europe? Why not Gaia?
Exactly, that's right. So what is it, what do we all wish Justyna as she takes that stage tonight in Basel?
We just hope that the jury can see what we see and that they...
I like the way you put it, right?
Absolutely. Like, we see her being a contender. We see her being a strong performer. I think that the jury is going to see it too.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think might be the most difficult thing for Justyna and her team tonight as they prepare to walk out onto that stage?
I think what's the most difficult is to be remembered after 26 songs have been played. The running order of the show is something that has historically made some good contenders flop and has elevated some that are at the end of that running order. Justyna is in the middle, in 15. As she finished her semifinals, she drew a producer's choice spot, meaning that the producers could put her anywhere in the running order. I think that they believe she's going to do good enough that she didn't need to be put at the end to really be in the minds of the televoters.
And one more thing I wanted to ask you. There is this Grade 5. Those are the countries that automatically qualify for the final, that being the UK, France, Germany, Italy, if I'm correct,
Italy and Spain,
right?
yeah.
And Spain. What do you think about the performers from these countries and how much of a shot do they have at taking the podium this year?
Well, also historically, it's been quite a difficult thing for the big five countries because they were not taking part in the semi-finals. That is the reason why they were doing so poorly, because the viewers in the two semi-finals on Tuesdays and Thursdays did not get to see them perform, did not get to have this bond. That is why last year the change was introduced to have them perform interspersed in the semi-finals. However, they did not have to qualify still. And I think that the Spanish song by a singer called Melody has a big chance to get up there, and as I previously mentioned, the entry by France.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think about Switzerland, right? I also know that they qualify as they are the host country. What do you think about their number?
Yeah, well, Switzerland, the title or the theme of this year's contest is Welcome Home, because Switzerland was also the first country to ever host the Eurovision. I personally don't think their entry is as strong as last year's by Nemo, but they might do a sneaky top 10.
All right. With that, we're going to have to end it there. And just to add on what you said, welcome home. Let's all hope that we can welcome Justyna home back with the highest possible note. Kacper Paradowski, TVP World Editor, thank you very much for breaking it down for us here this morning. And with that, it's a wrap for this edition of World Talks. But for more interviews like this one, updates and commentary, make sure to stay tuned to TVP World.